Welcome back to the Pro Sports Podcasters. My name is Colbert Duran. You know me as Kobe. Today I'm here with NWB, Nii Wallace-Bruce, and this is part of our NFTs on PSP series. And we're looking at the next position highlighted on the NFL All Day series. And today it's going to be defensive lineman. Nii?
Yeah, so this is the front line, the front line of the defense, and it's a bit tricky for many of us, even in fantasy world, to track or predict, because as we talked about offline before we jumped on here, you could be a great defensive lineman that generates a lot of pressure, gets double teamed or triple teamed, but that doesn't show up in the box score. Whereas you could be a not so good defensive lineman, but you could rack up a lot of stats.
That's right.
So that's something we're going to be mindful of here when we look at the plays we're about to get into. But one guy who I like a lot and who gets stats and is good at what he does is Spider-Man, otherwise known as Brian Burns from the Carolina Panthers. Now, Spider-Man generated a lot of pressure, and he turned that into his sacks in 2021. He's in a division where he can probably get after it again in 2022.
Yeah.
You know, he's got Atlanta, Tampa Bay on the potential rebuild, and
the Saints are in flux.
There we go. The Saints are in salary cap hell, so long may it continue for Spider-Man.
Yeah, I love Brian Burns. Huge fan of Brian Burns. He's actually one of the first moments I cracked. Actually, the very first pack I got in NFL All Day had a Brian Burns in it. And I was excited. I was a little disappointed, to be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of Carolina, but I was excited, and I know he's a stat hound, right? A stat hound. I know it. And I just assumed maybe in a different team he'd get even more. But he'll do fine in Carolina, especially this season.
Yeah, I think Carolina's got a great defense. The defense can get them to the playoffs. They just need to shore up their offensive situation and maybe get a better quarterback. But we'll see what they do. I'm sure it'll be interesting to watch. A team that doesn't need to shore up their quarterback position is the Cincinnati Bengals. Their quarterback's all right. They went to the Super Bowl this year, and one of the key components on defense was Trey Hendrickson. Now, Kobe may remember in our interview with Elise Jesse, the Cincinnati journalist, we talked about Hendrickson and his impact when he came across the Saints.
Huge. She felt like he might have been the most important acquisition they made. If you haven't listened to that podcast, definitely tune into our podcast, the Pro Sports Podcasters podcast. We've got guests on from practically every sport you can think of, but that was a particularly interesting one if you're a football fan, so definitely tune into that one. But yeah, Trey Hendrickson, phenomenal season.
Mm-hmm. He had the pressure, he had the sacks, he was finding his way to the backfield often, and I see no reason why that doesn't continue in 2022. He's in a good place, he's a leader of that defensive line, and they can only improve in Cincinnati.
Now, someone you skipped over, and I would have skipped over them as well. I just want to ask your opinion on this, because when it comes to defensive linemen, very few are known. If you were to ask somebody, a casual football fan, name your favorite defensive lineman, you're probably going to get 99 answers out of 100 will be Aaron Donald. Mm-hmm. And it ends there. But another name that people recognize is Ndamukong Suh.
Ndamukong Suh, yeah.
Ndamukong Suh right now is going for $6, and that's below value. We're going to say that right now. These are all below value. These are all under $10. But why would you avoid Ndamukong Suh if you're trying to build a collection that's going to be relevant for challenges?
Because I'm not sure. I don't know if he's coming back. He's got his ring. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay's lost Tom Brady as quarterback for the time being. We're recording in February.
This is very important.
So he might say, I'm good. He might want to go to another team. Tampa Bay could very well tear this team down. They might try and run him back, but I'm just not sure with Suh. And another factor is Suh plays a lot of defensive interior. Okay? The best defensive interior in Tampa Bay is not Ndamukong Suh anymore. It's another guy who we're going to talk about.
You want to talk about him next?
Yeah, Cobb, let's do that.
Okay.
So the guy we're going to talk about is Vita Veil. So Vita Veil is I think he'll be going into his third year now, maybe his fourth.
Beast.
He is a young man, and he's a young buck. He's literally a young buck who's got a lot of energy, and he's a pass rusher. And he whether they rebuild or they try and run it back, he is and the anchor of this defense of the future, okay? He gets sacks. This particular moment is a sack in the Make the Stop series. You want to tell us a bit more about the Make the Stop series?
So with the Make the Stop series, is again one of these special edition common series. This is limited to a print of 7,000 of each moment. So it's got additional collector value. And I'm glad you brought up the Make the Stop series. Let's talk about it now. I was going to talk about it at some point. But I was looking at some of these subsets, okay? And if you look at, I hate comparing this to NBA Top Shot. I've said this before. Do not directly compare it to NBA Top Shot. But in this case, I'm going to have to use NBA Top Shot as a comparison because it's the best known and the only one that's been around long enough to actually do a fair comparison. But in NBA Top Shot, they had common series subsets as well. And one of the subsets they had on that one was the Got Game subset. It had about, I think, 22 moments included in that subset. And currently, that subset, if you were to buy it every single moment, you're looking at a little over $2,000 American to get all 22 of those moments. Right now, if you were to buy every single Make the Stop moment from the NFL All Day subset, it's going to cost you roughly $400. Okay, and there's 22 moments in that subset as well. Very kind of bang on with the NBA Top Shot one. That's why I chose that one as an example. And at $400, you're looking at an average of around $18 per moment. And these are moments that should be going for 20 plus, right? That's what they should be going for. The minimum should be 20. So if you have $400 to invest and you're a fan of defensive players, because that's what this is, you could literally just pop onto the marketplace and buy every single Make the Stop subset moment for $400 or less. To be entirely honest, if you have some patience, you'll pay less because you can just wait till you see certain ones bottom out and such and just wait for the best deal. I just went and priced them all out at once just to see what they were at. Mm-hmm. And you'll have not only a collector set done, you'll have a great foundation for defensive challenges. Mm-hmm. And this is all Series 1, so it's only going to continuously go up in value. So I'm telling you, if you want to invest in something and get the most out of it, there's a possibility right there if you're into defensive players. And the reason I highlighted that is because the defensive players are being overlooked. You can't do the same with an offensive common series set because they're going for more because people recognize those players.
What did we learn from the Super Bowl, Cope?
Defense wins Super Bowls. Both of us are in agreement that Aaron Donald should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl, but something I actually learned that I did not know before, that Nii clued me into, is that the voting for Super Bowl MVP happens before the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter. So two of the most important plays of probably the most important plays of the Super Bowl went unnoticed to the voters because they happened at the very end of the game. And that's why Aaron Donald isn't wearing an additional MVP ring at this point.
Yeah, honestly, in my opinion, that's going to change because when you look at previous Super Bowls and what happens in the last 2 minutes, I think the Steelers won both of them last two Super Bowls in the last 2 minutes. Definitely against the Cardinals, they did. I mean,
Seattle,
Malcolm Butler.
Yeah.
I feel like there's at least one or two Tom Brady wins that were in the last 2 minutes.
Yep.
That's got to change. There's no reason for that because if they're worried about timing in terms of getting it down to the announcer.
Yeah. The network's got to get to the next show.
You can just fit in more commercials. They give the trophy to the owner anyway, so the owner's going to be talking for however long. Then they go to the coach. There's enough time in there to work out the MVP in that extra 2-minute warning time.
100%. Because that game was won by Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
To make back-to-back plays the way he did to get the win was awesome. If you know anything about NFL football and about defensive linemen especially, they generally have a tank that they're constantly massaging over the course of the game. So they will take certain plays off, is like how they say it, although they're not really doing that. They're just understanding that they need to save up a little bit of endurance to make key plays at key moments. To have the very end of the game come down to back-to-back Aaron Donald plays after he had been doubled the whole game is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. And we're getting off topic, but we had to put that out there.
There we go. Now, going back to the moments in time. Another great moment was Max Crosby. Max Crosby had a breakout season in Las Vegas. He is the defensive end. He's a Pro Bowler now for the Raiders. Yep, those Raiders. But he's one of the reasons why they did so well. One of the reasons why they made it to the playoffs because he kept continuously making stops, and he's
part of the make the stop series as well.
Part of the make the stop series. So look for him to make sacks. Look for him to get tackles for loss. This is a guy that he will be involved when it comes to challenges next season in 2022.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I hate the Raiders. I'm a Broncos fan, so it's difficult for me. But Max Crosby is the real deal. He's in on a lot of plays. He's one of those guys that just seems to know where the ball's going to be. So I like Max Crosby, unfortunately. Right? But yeah, those are just a few of the highlight defensive linemen we wanted to show you. Again, there's so many that are available right now, under $10, because people just do not know who they are. Some of these names you'll recognize. You won't know why, but you'll recognize. Like, for instance, I've got it set up on a widescreen here, so I see 3 at a time. I got a row here that includes Akeem Hicks, Chris Jones, and Trey Hendrickson. There's a great start right there. You can just buy those 3 for less than $20. You get Akeem Hicks, Chris Jones, Trey. These are all Pro Bowlers.
Yeah, I don't mind Chris Jones. I guess with him, he's getting a little bit advanced in terms of the years, so he could be on the decline potentially in 2022. So I held off on him, but he's a guy that has put up numbers in the past for sure.
Yeah, but it's just an example. Just showing you one little screenshot here, and it's like, wow.
There we go.
You're kidding me.
Quality at a nice value price. Now, thanks again for watching. As always, we appreciate that. Make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you like on the video. Be sure to follow us on our social medias. So our Instagram is @pro.sports.podcasters, Twitter @ppodcasters, and our website where you can find all of our podcast episodes as well as write-ups on NFTs and all things sport is www.prosportspodcasters.com.
And if you want to chat sometime on the NFL All Day Discord, I am PSP_Kobe. You also might find one of the other members of the Pro Sports Podcasters, Justin Williams, on the NBA Top Shot Discord. He's PSP_Justin. And even my wife has gotten big into the NFL All Day. Her collection is actually more impressive than mine. And she's PSP_Amy.
Nice.